Okay, so we are with Peaches of Peaches and Herb, and can you introduce me to who you're with?
Well, I am a solo artist now, and my husband is my producer, my everything. And this is Stephen Giovanni.
Hey,
Okay, so this is Stephen, and you're spelled Stephen, and so am I.
that's the correct way to do it.
Right.
So that's a good way to spell that. An absolute pleasure to talk to both of you. And the show's coming up here in Chehalis in Western Washington on August 4th, and we are looking. I mean, to say we're looking forward to you is an understatement. You've been such an influence, and if I had a penny for every time I played your songs on the air, I'd probably be doing pretty good. So welcome. So tell us about what we'll see as far as the show on August 4th.
I'm so excited about this show because I have met so many wonderful people in the business who were friends and, went out of their way sometimes to just make that happen. Tina Turner, I'm going to do Simply the Best, tribute to her.
Oh man!
A tribute to the 40s. Shaka Khan and a couple of people collaborated on this song called Night in Tunisia that I love. And I like to bring timelines together. And I'm doing Miley Cyrus's new hit. Yeah, I love what I sing. And I like to pick where I like to go. And when this came up, it was right up my alley.
I think one of the unique things about her in her show is she does as a producer, she has so many different kinds of music, but it's not just right. She has a personal story. She's good friends with Tina, she's good friends with Michael Jackson, Donna Summer. And then, so when she does their songs, they'll talk a little about them. So it makes it more interesting.
Yeah.
So we've got some little stories going on in between songs, right?
Yeah, right. Uh-huh.
Her hits, she'll do Shake It Groove thing and reunite.
Oh yeah.
And now she's a solo artist. So her last three singles are over 500,000 on Spotify. So she'll do her new stuff.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Very good. I was going to ask you how, as I was reading through some of the stuff here, how did you become a roommate with Natalie Cole?
It was just, I want to say God made it happen because I'm working at Virginia Beach. It's a little island off of Norfolk and on the East Coast. And I was in a great cover tune band. And that's what I love doing. And she was there playing a posh nightclub doing her father's music.
Okay.
So it's just the two of us with color on the beach, if you know what I mean.
Oh, right on.
I wanted to say hello to her. And so Della Reese was there at that time, and she thought I was Nellie's sister. And I said, no, I came by to say hi. I work at the club on the beach with all the music and all the fun. And I just wanted to make an introduction to her and invite her to the show when she's done, because I did 3 sets. And so I didn't get to meet her at rehearsal, but she came to the show. And then she called me the next day. So the next summer that she came, we hung out that summer, but the next summer she came, we became roommates. I had,
okay.
And so she stayed there with me and she really encouraged me and wanted her manager to see what he could do for me. And he's going, I'm having a hard time getting you going. So anyway, she was playing Kennedy Center, and I went to see her because I'm from DC originally. So I was there, my sister was there, and a talent scout and producer named Van McCoy, who wrote the song Do the Hustle, had worked with my dad on a home project. And my sister said, do you remember my sister Linda? He said, yeah, but he remembered me from being like 15, right? So I'm all grown up now. And he goes, right. Linda. And so then he says, I'm doing a lot of stuff. And right now I'm trying to help. Do you remember Peaches and Herb? And I kind of went, I kind of do.
Right.
And so he goes, he's looking for a new partner. And I could, maybe put a meeting together with you guys and see what happens. And that's what happened. And that's how that all blended together.
Boy, it sure came together, didn't it?
Uh-huh.
That's for
Now,
sure.
Yeah, I couldn't have
what
planned that.
what year was that?
Uh-huh. That was 78
Yeah.
when,
78. Okay.
yeah.
So
Mhm.
when you went in to record the album,
Yeah.
um, how was that? What was the vibe in the studio? Actually, where did you record that at?
We recorded it here in Los Angeles. My dream was to
Okay.
live here, and we recorded it with two original producers from Motown who were out on their own, and Freddie Perrin and Dino Fakaris.
Great producer, great writer.
Yeah. So
So, Stephen, were you involved? I mean, did you
No,
guys know each other at that point?
we grew up 20 minutes apart, but we never met. I actually played football against her high school. She never came to the game, so I could brag about how good I was. And no, we didn't know each other. I just knew of her. She was huge. And but then I came out to LA in '79. It was produced, and I produced Smokey Robinson and groups like that. And then they wanted her to go solo. We came together and met, and we've been together ever since.
yeah.
So how did you get into the business? How did you get
Well,
your start?
I did music since a little kid. You know, New Jersey Italian, you got to learn something. And went to college in Chicago, played ball. And when I came out, I just traveled and sang. And then I came out to LA and, used my college education to do any job I could get. So I'd work all day, moving furniture and all that. And then I'd write music all night long. And a friend that sang with Smokey heard my songs and he liked them. And he recorded them, and they did well in Chicago and different groups. And then he liked my demo so much, he asked me to produce them. So I produced Smokey. And then, how it just starts to accumulate stuff and scored some movies and TV shows and stuff like that. And so, that's how that happened.
And also what happened is Tina Turner and I, when we became good friends, we were working in Vegas, and she wanted to help me any way she could. But my dream was to live in LA. And her music director, his name was Kenny Brown. He's been in the business a long time. He just passed away not too long ago. But anyway, Kenny started sending me demos of music I, might want to listen to, because I was going to definitely be going solo from there. And so he had about 4 demos that I listened to, and then he had one I really liked that seemed like a crossover between gospel and R&B and rock. I like that. And I like all kinds of music, but I really like that. And I said, well, who is Stephen Tavani? And he goes, he's a friend of mine. And we did some music together, and I sent you one of his tapes. Why, do you like it? I go, yeah, I'd like to meet him and talk to him and see what happened. And we have been together ever since.
Was this love at first sight?
Well, no, I was in love long before I met her. Who wasn't?
Exactly.
I mean, she voted most beautiful woman in the world 3 years by Bazaar magazine, and this and that, and so there was a long line, but I pushed to the head of it. But yeah, the first night we met, she called me. She wanted to meet, and I said, well, usually people come to my house. She goes, well, I don't want to drive at night. And then she said, I'm making dinner, and Italian.
I was having dinner with a few friends in the business.
Yeah, Janice, you remember Taste of Honey? She was there. And we met that night and haven't been apart since. Been married 36 years, has 2 wonderful children, and we love what we do. And started producing her and started a marriage. And then we cut like 3 or 4 gospel albums. Really cool. They did really well. So we love gospels. We're believers, and they do. In fact, we'll probably do a song or 2 together up there at the concert. That's the story, and I'm sticking to it.
You got the real deal, the whole
truth,
but the truth.
Tell us about Wow.
It is. I actually named what we were doing Wow, because what we learned that we could do with our talent could bring community to a unity with the combination of what we do and what they're trying to do ongoingly as a community together, and have a fun day, like a free festival. of
Right.
a bunch of tents that offer people a lot of helps, and
we
feed them and
I
encourage them.
I was raised in outside DC and in New Jersey, and my dad worked with an organization. He was a professor, but we worked with drug addicts and gangbangers and homeless people, and so that's what I was helping with. And I just saw, when they experience the love of God and some hope in their life and just some simple help, I saw them radically change. So I always wanted to do that. And after being successful and everything, when we got together, we started an organization called WOW International. Our outreaches are called WOW Jams. And we slowly grew up, built a big truck that turns into a stage and tents. And
Oh, wow.
yeah, it's really cool. Yeah, it's a booming sound system. And so now it's been 35 years, 1.4 million people have attended, and we're in the most dangerous places, Compton, South Central, Harlem, been around the world. And we'll feed you, cook hot food up, we'll fix your bike. We fixed 60,000 bikes. I haven't fixed a bike. And so for the first 2 hours, we mobilized 158,000 local workers, just like yourself, to come out and just be kind to people. It's everybody's welcome. No one's turned away. And for 2 hours, you're just loved. They last about 4 or 5 hours.
Yeah, everybody wants to go home.
Yeah, we have anywhere from 3 to 10,000 people that come. And then we're on the stage. We give away bikes and TVs and drama. And of course, they love Peaches. They don't come to hear me. And they love them. And then we just share a message of hope. That God loves you. And people, if you want to pray with you. And then we tie them with a local relationship. And then we pass out 500 to 1,000 boxes of groceries at the end of the day. And we keep coming back. So we're in New York City for 23 years. We were down after Hurricane Katrina hit for 13 years. So we keep coming back. And now this will be our first one in Nashville in September. Yeah. And so our website's wowjam.com. Of course, it takes a lot to do that. So people donate and help us. And that's WowJam. And that's what we do, along with her concerts.
It's got to be really uplifting to do.
It is.
You're right. I think what we communicate more is the workers. A lot of them never been to the hood, or they're scared of colors. But they, at the end of the day, I think they're more blessed than the people they help. They're a little sunburned, their bones hurt a little. But I think, I know there's a lot of trouble in the world right now. And there's a great verse in the Bible that says the kindness of the Lord leads to repentance. So I don't think we need to put people down. We don't need to judge them. Just show kindness. And kindness goes a long, long way. I'm talking about a simple kindness. Just
simple kindness.
Fixing a kid's bike. Linda has a makeover tent, the kids' corner tent.
Yeah. Oh, I dreamed of what I wanted to be when I grow up, and I'm doing it. But I would dress up in, like, my aunt who had a nurse. She was a nurse, so I would dress up in her clothes. And I had this idea of, what if I had a tent full of things that a professional would wear? If they were a little kid, what would they want to be when they grow up? So we get them dressed and take their picture and encourage them. And whoever brought them in, an older person, we asked them, would you read to them? Would you really encourage them on this? This might make a difference in their life. So I really love that. That's
a great tent, because, we ask kids in the hood, what do you want to be when you grow up? And they used to say, I want to be a gangbanger, I want to have girls. You know what they're saying now, Stephen? They're saying, I want to be alive. Being alive shouldn't be a goal.
Yeah, no.
Shouldn't be a goal. But we've had over close to 400,000 kids go through that tent and dress up and get a picture of what they can be. And once again, I know it's very simple. They're not teaching this in college or seminary, but I can't tell you the life changes that happen. Or the makeover tent. She does makeovers for ladies.
Ladies who are just so they don't get made up anymore. They're just babysitting and just every day goes by, coming home anymore, or all kind of stuff. But that day, none of that. We're going to pamper you. We even have a tent to put your baby to play while you get your makeover done.
We rock babies. We have a baby rocking tent and rock little babies.
Right. And I got one more little story for you about reuniting. I feel like that is my calling, to see people United. We've done high schools, what do you call them, assemblies and whatnot. And you see the tension in the school between the kids and the teacher. You get out of the wild jam atmosphere, and they have become friends that can talk.
Yeah.
And so from then on, there's a better relationship at school and whatnot, because they saw, you know, people from their neighborhood in your neighborhood or vice versa. And who is not going to pass out barbecue, music, and prizes?
Yeah, lots of prizes. And
turn that down.
Of course, peaches. And because, you know, Stephen, her music is played more now than when it was released. And it's in just about every country of the world. Huge in China. She was the first Black woman ever performed it. But I mean, Ireland, Afghanistan playing till we pulled out. And because they use so much of her music in movies, like Disney movies, so little kids come up to her. And they just, I'm really proud of my wife. The people love her, and she's very humble, but she's phenomenally talented.
Well, that's one of the things I was going to say is it must be really gratifying to have younger people showing up at these concerts and knowing the music. I mean, that's really nice that another generation is going to know and pass along the music, right?
It's humbling, and it carries a responsibility, because I had the blessing to pick Reunited to be put on the album. One of my producers had come in with this song that he wanted me to do solo, and Herb was not ready for that. And so I said, oh well, okay. So they said, but we have room for one more song. And out of 3 demos, he goes, we're going to let Peaches pick the song that goes on. And guess what one I picked?
Reunited.
There you go. And I felt God say, this song is going to change your life, which it did, and many, many more. And that is what's going on. And so I'm humbled by that whole connection with that. And that's why I said, wow. I must have said, wow, in a way that most people don't. Many years about all the episodes and stories in my life.
And what she didn't tell you is that, and I think this is typical of life, you'll have a disappointment. And what we want to tell people is don't stop there.
Yeah.
You know,
no, you can't.
Don't give up, because there's something better coming around the corner. So that same day, they brought in a song called "I Will Survive." They wanted her to sing it, and they, no, you got to stay with the duet. You can't, So of course, it became a huge hit by Gloria Gaynor, and then 5 minutes later, one of the biggest songs in the world, Reunited. And actually, she's gonna do. She's gonna do.
Story.
Yeah, she's gonna do. I Will Survive.
Oh, good.
At the concert and tell that little story. So
well, now we can't keep it a surprise now because everyone's gonna know, but that's okay.
It's okay. And also, I love what she talks how after her concerts, the limo would take her and Herb to like the ghetto and the hood
for soul food
and
store.
Hundreds of people come around for autographs, because really back in the day, Steve, it's those little mom and pop record shops that sold the records, and the little radio stations. I understand, Paul was a DJ and all that. I'm sorry to see those local radio stations go, because they were the backbone. So she would go in and sign autographs, and she told me, she goes, when she was in that limo for all those little kids, she goes, so one day I want to come back and do more than just sign an autograph. And she has. And so
20 years later.
And that's what we did.
Yeah.
Well, really, the success that you've enjoyed has also made it to where, you can give back with WOW.
Yeah, I love it.
What advice do you have, for people, male, female, whatever, that want to get into the business? I mean, it's obviously changed. You can post stuff. You don't necessarily have to have that record deal or whatever, but I mean, you still have to have the talent. What do you recommend people do?
Well, if you love to sing as much as you can. Hear yourself record it, because sometimes you can go. Because I learned this from another person that befriended me in the business. That was David Bowie, and he was telling me how fame is a trick. And a lot of people miss out on loving what they do, trying to get famous. It's a heartbreaking.
Exactly.
It can be, you can earn it, but you can't make it happen. So don't try to make it happen. Just be as good as you can be at what you love.
Now you mentioned Bowie. You've got a little bit of a story about David, don't you?
Yeah. You know I do.
Can you tell us about it a little bit?
Should I?
Yeah.
Okay. I met him.
I'm the one that's married to you.
I met him, and it was he was on his way to Philadelphia on tour, and I happened to be going to the hotel he was staying for dinner. I love to go to dinner by myself sometimes. It was a Sunday, I was by myself. He sent his assistant over and asked who I was. And he did not know that he was part of my personal life. I love his music.
Mm-hmm.
I used to listen to it and creatively paint. I paint pictures and whatnot. And so I knew who he was. And so she goes, do you know him? And I go, I know who he is. She goes, well, he would like to know you. And I said, really? So he was working on the Young Americans album. His whole entourage is very colorful people. Instead of it being a concert, it was more like rock opera. And it was more like that. And it was an unforgettable escape for me that weekend. And he was teasing me about not having an accent. So he goes, you don't have an accent. And I go, you do, and he goes, so where are you from? And I said, I'm from Washington, like that. And I saw him write that down because on his notes, he was working on the Young Americans album. So I saw him write that. And about a year later, I went to the studio and met a couple of people that he was working with on that album too. That was so cool. You had to act real cool back then. You can't oh my God, you just,
right.
This was, he right over there, Anyway.
You got to stay cool.
Yeah. So I never got to see him after that. I never got to see him, but I was going down an elevator one day and I heard these lines all the way from Washington. I went,
yep, that's me.
So she's the girl and he's the girl on the song.
Kidding me. And most of the people I knew, my family and whatnot, they didn't quite know who Bowie was, but because I'm such a music lover, I did. And so those who knew just said, wow, what an experience, because he was a great guy. And that was great. Man.
It's one of the great lines of the song, too.
All right.
It's the best line in the song.
Can you get royalty for being in the song? We'll talk our attorneys about it.
Oh, my God.
But, just to build on her answer to your question, and I agree with it, it's really important. There's a difference between music and business. So you said, how do you get into business? That's like how do you get to the moon. But music, it's a wonderful thing. And guard that desire. Be very diligent. Be as good as you can. Take lessons. You know 3 chords, you can play any song in the world. But be diligent. Improve yourself. Work hard. And as Peter said, sing or play every chance. Sing when the family comes over. She used to sing in a hairbrush.
Absolutely.
Sing, and enjoy it. One thing I love about my wife is she has sung everywhere. Carnegie Hall, every place. Yet she'll be in the kitchen cooking and she's singing because she loves music.
I'm happy.
And if you're not careful, the business will rob the love you have.
Yes.
For your
absolutely. I think that probably goes for a lot of different things in life.
Same thing with sports. I played football in college and I love football. I'll try to get into a playground game. I love it. I know cats that, got real good and everything, but it became a grind and they didn't protect their love for what they do. So, whoever's listening, get real good at what you do and then be out there. You've got the advantage of social media. Use it, put your stuff out there, but just remember, you can't ever get it back. So think before you put, you're singing and it's like, forget auto-tune. And just say you don't use it.
Never used it.
So and you know what, Steve, talent seems to find its way.
Yes.
Yeah.
But
with determination and motivation.
And surround yourself with good people. I'm not just
Absolutely.
talking about I'm talking about a community of people that you can love and trust, and then enjoy whatever you have. Like, she's gonna love singing in that park in Chehalis.
It's gonna be fun.
It's you know what?
It's gonna be a great time. Last Friday we had a band called the Olsen Brothers. It was a beautiful summer night, and they knocked it out of the park. And there's no better place in the world than Western Washington in the summertime. I mean, it's God's country. So I know you're gonna love it.
It was beautiful.
Yeah, when Paul was telling me about it, he said, "Well, it's outside." I go, "Paul, we do outside stuff." I mean, we don't have anything. And I think Prohibition Band is going to open for her. And we love young talent. We just wish them all the best. But it's going to be a great night.
Talent, look, you can call me Auntie Peaches. Just don't give up on love. That's one of us.
Which is one of our singers.
Absolutely.
We're going to get people to come up. We're going to get people to come up and sing with us. It's just going to be fun.
Oh, good. Well, thanks for taking the time to chat with me. And this is actually, I've done radio for about 35 years, but this is the debut. This is the debut on the face-to-face thing. So thank you for being my first, Stephen Peaches. Thank you very much. And we will see you at the show.